Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel again. So today video is about util microfrontend. And util microfrontend is one of the primary microfrontend type coming under single ISPA microfrontend framework. As you can see here, there are three microfrontend types coming under single ISPA microfrontend framework. Those are application, parcel and utility. So today we are going to talk about only utility type. And as you can see in the table, there are no routes for the utility type, and export the public interface may or may not render UI, and there are no life cycles included in utility type, and the use cases we can use for share common logic among other microfrontends. Also, we can use for share reusable components among other microfrontends, and those are the primary use cases we can find with utility type, and I will discuss in detail about these use cases. Okay, now let's see what are the use cases of utility microfrontends. As you can see here, I have listed down only four key use cases, and the first one is we can use as an authorization service, and we can use as a component library, as a notification service, as an error tracking service. But today video we are going to discuss in detail about first two key use cases, and which are how we can use this authorization logic and how we can store this authorization logic inside our utility microfrontend, and how we can store our reusable components inside our utility microfrontends, and how we can share those components across other microfrontends. So those are things we are going to look into today's video. Before diving into the implementation directly, I thought it's a good idea to give an overview about this authentication and authorization concept before some people don't never heard about this concept. So the people who don't know about this concept, I recommend you to watch this part. If you already know about this two concept, you can skip this. And the authentication is the process of confirming a user identity using provided credentials. So what are the credentials? Credentials mean basically a username and password. So let's say you are trying to access particular application by entering correct credentials. So then you are allowed to you will redirected to particular dashboard or website. That's basically authentication means. And what is authorization? Authorization is the process of verifying what someone has access to. Basically, it determines can you access a specific page or resource, can you edit or delete a file, like that. So basically, it determines can you access particular resource. So that's the basic idea about the authorization. Okay, if you look into this diagram, actually you can see there are two users here, user 1 and user 2. User 2 has access to create particular resource. User 1 has access to read and edit particular resource. That's how actually authorization works. Okay, now I think we can move to our implementation part, and let's see how we can do that. Okay, this is our single spot based template, and in order to get started, you need to clone this repository first. So, and I will include this repo URL in my video description as well. So let's clone this repository first. To clone the repository, you need to click this code button, and you can see this copy URL button. Just click it, then go to your IDE and git clone. Okay, now our repository has cloned already, and let's navigate to single spot template and start. Okay, now you can see I have only three microfrontends here: root microfrontend, dashboard microfrontend, and the auth microfrontend. So let's install our dependencies now. First, run npm install, because you can see we have the package.json in our parent folder, right? Here you can see there's one dev dependencies have included, that was concurrently dependency. So we need to install that one. Okay, let's navigate to the auth microfrontend now, and let's install dependencies for that microfrontend. cd auth microfrontend and npm install. Likewise, actually you can install all the dependencies for relevant microfrontends. Okay, now I have installed all the dependency for my microfrontends. And if you navigate to for particular microfrontend, you should see there is a node module folder. And here, this is my auth microfrontend and this is my node modules. And likewise, if you go to the dashboard MFE, this is the node modules. And if you go to the root microfrontend, you should see the node modules folder, right? So that's the installation part. And now let's run our all the microfrontend and let's see how we can see this in our browser. So in order to run, you should see there's a package.json in your parent folder and you need to just run this start all command, right? Okay, now you can see our all microfrontends are up and running. So let's see in our browser how we can see it now. And port will be localhost 9000. And here is our login UI. And if you go to the inspect, and there is a extension we installed already now for our browser, and that's called single spa inspector. If you go there, you can see our auth microfrontend has mounted and our dashboard microfrontend is not loaded yet. So let's log into our system now. And email and the password is I already hard coded my email and password in my code base. If you go to the auth microfrontend SRC screens and login screen, you can see my email is user@example.com and the password is password. Let's try these credentials now. Okay, now you can see our auth microfrontend is mounted and dashboard microfrontend has mounted. Okay, this is our dashboard microfrontend and you can see this there's a sidebar in the left side of the dashboard. Today my plan is as you can see in this diagram, when user logged into the system, which mean in my this system I am going to have only two user roles, admin and user. If log user is an admin, I will show all sidebar menu items. If its log user is an user, I will show only specific sidebar menu items. So that's we are going to do today, and let's see how we can do that. Okay, in order to get started with this utility micro frontend, so first of all you need to open new terminal, and then after that we need to execute our usual command, which is npx create single list bar. So I will give my the directory name as auth utility, and this will be in browser utility module. So you can see the second option is in browser utility module. So I am going to select that one. After that, it asks about which framework do you want to use. I give as none, and the package manager I select as npm. TypeScript no. Organization name. So my organization name, and again let's give our project name as auth utility. Okay, now our dependencies are started to install for utility micro frontend. Okay, now our other dependencies have installed successfully for our auth utility micro frontend. And if you go to the auth utility, you will see only one file, and there is a function called public API function. And here is the place we can include our customers functions, right? And we can export the functions to our other micro frontends. So the first thing you should do is let's go to the root microfrontend and src index.ejs, and you should link our auth utility microfrontend here, right? And the project name is auth utility, and I'm going to give the port as 9004, and the JS file would be auth utility, right? And that's the first change. And also we need to navigate to our auth utility and the package JSON. Since we set our port as 9004, so here also we need to set the port as 9004. And finally, we should set in our parent package JSON, since we need to run our all microfrontend at once, we need to set npm start for our auth utility microfrontend as well. Right, and let's stop this one now. Then we can run this command again, and now you should see all the microfrontend are getting started. You can see 9004, 9000, 9003, and 9002. Right, until our microfrontends get started, there is a change we need to do inside our auth microfrontend. Right. So first of all, let's navigate to login screen. That's inside our auth microfrontend, SRC screens and login screen. Right. So here, when a user logged into the system, I store my mock JW token inside my local storage. Also, I want another value I need to store in my local storage. That was the role of the user, right? So this would be role, and now I set this as user, right? Okay, now you can see our all of the microfrontends are up and running, including our utility auth utility microfrontend. Okay, now we need to do some modification in our dashboard microfrontend. So let's go to there and src and screens, dashboard screen. Here actually this is the one we are iterating for our sidebar. So now I am going to add new attribute here, and it's going to be roles, and it will be an array, and let's have roles here and user. So basically now my plan is the logged user is admin or user. I am going to show this dashboard menu item, and likewise I am going to copy and paste for other sidebar items as well. But for reports menu item, I'm going to do a small change. So here I am going to remove my user and only keep the admin as a role. So the reason is actually now if the logged user is user, he's not going to see these reports sidebar menu item, right? So if it is admin, he will see all of the menu items, but if it is a user, he is not going to see these reports sidebar menu item in the sidebar, right? So that's my plan. The next change is again we need to navigate to our auth utility, src, and here we need to define our function. So I will remove this one. Okay, this is my function is sidebar menu items visible, right? And it takes the roles as argument. And here local storage get item means I am getting the current role from the local storage, and I am checking whether current role is included in my roles array. And here actually it's returned a boolean value based on the current role, right? And now we need to import this functionality to our dashboard microfrontend. So this is the important one. So let's navigate to our dashboard microfrontend and the webpack.config.js. Here we need to modify our webpack config.js. Here we need to add externals and it's going to be an array. Here we need to include our auth utility microfrontend, right? Okay, this is my microfrontend name, and now we can import our function to our dashboard screen file, right? To import it, import our function name is sidebar menu item visible from our utility auth utility microfrontend, right? This is how we can import functionality from our auth utility microfrontend, right? Now, next change would be I need to filterize my navigation item based on this function, right? So for that, in that case, I am going to initialize new variable called const filtered sidebar menu items and navigation dot filter item now I am passing the item dot roles, right? And now I need to set to iterate the filtered value in my sidebar. To do that, you need to scroll down and you should find there's a our loop here, and this is the one, the existing one we need to replace with the new filtered one, right? So this would be now filtered sidebar menu items, and there's another place. Right, so those are the implementation actually in our dashboard screen, and let's see everything is okay. And another thing actually, since in the logout process, actually I need to remove the local storage, the value for the role. At the time we log in, we set another value for the role as well. Here I add this in order to remove the role value when we log out from the system, right? So now it's time to check our implementation in browser, whether it's working or not. Okay, now let's go to the browser. At the same time, I will open my local storage as well. Okay, now let's log into our system. User at example.com and password would be the password. Okay, now you can see our token and the roles are set in the local storage. And the important thing is now you can see our reports menu item is not showing when the logged user is used. So that's my simple authorization logic is working. And also let's check if the logged user is admin, what we can see. Sign out. Okay, now we need to do some code change in our auth microfrontend. So go to the auth microfrontend, src, screens, login screen. Now I will set this value as admin, right? Admin. Now we should see all the sidebar menu items in our sidebar, right? So let's again log into the system. Here, now we can see the report sidebar menu item as well. So this is the one of the simulated way I come up with, since I wanted to understand you guys about this concept about the how utility microfrontends are working. So that's why I went with this way, but actually if it is an industrial project, actually I suggest you to follow the better ways, and there are numerous ways actually you can find how we can handle this authorization logic throughout the systems. So I recommend you to go with that approach. So just understand the concept behind this implementation. That's I want you to tell you guys, right? That's it for how we can use this util micro frontend as authorization service, right? Or you can include whatever functionality you need to share across the micro frontend. You can just include in that util micro frontend, right? Now let's look into our next use case, how we can use this util micro frontend as a component library, right? Okay, now let's stop our micro frontends. And now we need to again initialize a new util micro frontend, right? Okay, let's initialize our new util micro frontend and run this command again. Let's give the name as UI utility, and this is also going to be in-browser utility module. And here, which framework do you want to use? I'm going to select it as React, right? And the package manager npm TypeScript no, organization name, and the project name also going to be UI utility, right? So now our dependencies are getting installed. Until it's get installed, I will set the my we need to set new port for our UI utility micro frontend. So here I will give it as 9005, right? 9005. And also again we need to link our UI utility micro frontend to our root micro frontend. So again you need to go index.ejs. Yeah, let's copy paste and change the name it as UI utility localhost 9005, and the file name would be here. This is the file name code env -ui -utility.js, right? Okay, these are the configuration you need to done in order to connect your UI utility to our microfrontend setup, right? Okay, our installation has completed now. Let's go to our UI utility microfrontend now, and yeah, here now I'm going to define a new component, right? Export const. Here I'm going to have button component, and I'm going to return hello, right? Okay, now let's import this button component to our other micro frontends, right? How we can do that? So the same approach we need to follow actually. So again we need to go to our, let's import our button component to our auth micro frontend. So again we need to go to our webpack.config.js, and here externals, and so you need to include your micro frontend project name actually. Right, now let's just import our button component to our login screen just for showcase, right? import button, right? So let's just include it in here. Okay, now let's run our all the microfrontends again, and again you need to do some modification here, right? So let's modify this command again. Now let's include our UI utility microfrontend as well. Okay, seems like I'm getting an error. Okay, now I think my project name is wrong actually. This is not the correct way. It should be add code in way slash UI dash utility, right? So that should be the way. Let's stop this again and let's run it. Okay, now if we go to the browser, you can see our hello button is visible here, and also you will notice there is no style applied for my hello button because if you go to the root microfrontend index.ejs, actually I have used this tailwind CDN here. That's why you can't see any styles applied for that button. But let's add some styles. So again, let's go to the code, our file, and let's add a class name. Class name. So I'm going to give a background color, right? Okay, now, okay, it's not showing. Again, there's a typo here. Cool. Now you can see our style is applied for our hello button. I think now you got the concept behind how we can use our utility microfrontend as a component library. And you can define all of the components here and you can export and you can import to other microfrontends. And also another benefit, if you use this as a component library, actually we can receive props to this microfrontend from our other microfrontends. So let's see how we can do that. So let's say uh, test, and I will include the test here. And we need to again navigate to our auth mic frontend, src, screens, mini screen, and here is the place we use. And I am going to add the test since I am going to pass a prop to my parent component, and this will be also hello. Here it is. And hope you got the concept behind this util micro frontend type. And if you have any questions, doubts, please let me know in the comment section. And also make sure to subscribe, like, share my videos. And until the next video, guys, see you. Bye.